Good morning, Jayhawks. Welcome to another Wednesday morning edition of Good Morning KU. I'm Michael Garrett.
And I'm Michael O'Brien.
Got the mics on today, so it's like Mike and Mike in the morning.
Totally.
This is a new experience. Got a new co-host today, Michael O'Brien. Thanks for being with me this morning.
Glad to be here.
So just got back from break.
Yes.
We got 2 shows left this semester for the Wednesday crew. Seems like it's been going pretty quickly, right?
No kidding. I can't believe the semester's already over.
I know, it's flown by. But break was good. Thanksgiving break's always kind of a tease for me because I'm really excited to spend time with family and be home and
That's what it's all about.
take naps with my dog and all that fun stuff. And then, whoosh, back into the swing of things for another 2 weeks of just really hardcore school because it's the last 2 weeks of school. So Thanksgiving's rough.
Yeah, I was looking forward to having a few days off, but then they flew by so fast, and right before I knew it, I was right back here.
What'd you do over break? Anything exciting?
Well, my family goes to St. Louis every Thanksgiving. We've done that my whole life, so this was about the 20th year in a row because I've got a lot of family there, and that's where I reunite with my grandparents and my aunts and my cousins. Big family. And so we spent that at the Gatesworth, where my grandparents live, which is, it looks like a big luxury hotel, and it was really nice. And then pretty much played soccer and cards with all my cousins. So
Nice. Spending time with cousins is always good.
Where'd you go?
I live in Lenexa, so
Me too.
Yeah. Back to our hometown. So it's like, less than a half hour away. Nothing too exciting, but kind of cool spin on my Thanksgiving. My sister just got married a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
To a man he's from South Africa. So his family came to celebrate Thanksgiving. They were in town for the wedding, they stayed for Thanksgiving. But it was awesome because it was the South Africans' first Thanksgiving. It was also new and exciting for them, and it was funny because they had no idea what to expect because new Thanksgiving and stuff. But it was fun.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is like an American holiday.
It is, right? So they're it's not really an equivalence, but obviously South Africa has some holidays that we don't celebrate, but for the most part they have like Christmas, Easter, like the normal holidays that the world celebrates. So that was cool. It was interesting to kind of get their take on Thanksgiving, see what they thought about it. So.
Did you go Black Friday shopping?
No, this is really sad. So my brother's an architectural engineer, so they're constantly working on projects. And so he had to do some sort of concrete pour for some structure they were working on. And he came back to Lawrence and said, "Hey, I'm going to Lawrence, do you want to come with me?" Obviously I know nothing about architectural engineering, journalism student. Hey.
Me too.
So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll come. I don't really know what kind of help I'll be. So I decided to go to the library if it was open. And actually, it was open. I went inside the library and I went to Watson. It was a ghost town. There was nobody there. So the Friday after Thanksgiving, I would spend it in Watson in the stacks. It's kind of not a fun time, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I bet it was quiet.
It was. I got a lot of good work done on my papers, so Spanish paper. If you're listening, Santa Arias, my Spanish teacher,
Yes.
got some good work done. So you can expect some good stuff.
I've only been Black Friday shopping once, and it was on Thanksgiving night 2 years ago.
That's so bad. Why would you, I hate when places are open on holidays. I'll be at the drive-thru at McDonald's. We are open Thanksgiving Day. Man, that's what I want on Thanksgiving, Don't mind the turkey. I'm going to get a McDouble.
I know. I always feel so sorry for those people who work at Walmart and have to work during Thanksgiving Day.
There was this thing on the news at Walmart. There was, where was it? Somewhere on the East Coast, Southeast Coast, that there was, this happens every year, so it's not that surprising, but these people are just beating each other for these
TVs.
It's
TVs and Xboxes.
Are you serious right now? It's just a TV. I don't know. I think it's nuts.
It is.
I try to avoid it.
And there's always viral videos of somebody getting murdered over a flat screen TV.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, yeah. But anything else interesting you do over break?
Well, we came home from St. Louis on Friday, and then on Saturday I got a tattoo.
No, you did not.
I did.
Can we see it?
Yeah.
Is it visible?
It's on my arm. It's right there. Yeah, it's peeling a little bit, so you can probably kind of tell, but it's of the Imagine Dragons logo. Hopefully you've heard of that band.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but they're my favorite band, and I feel like their music, I can really relate to it. So this picture is just kind of a symbol of a lot of stuff that I've gone through. So I really like it so far, and I got it 4 days ago, and so far no regrets.
Wow, it looks like it'd be kind of painful.
Well, I mean, I could feel it, but if you ever had laser treatment,
I guess it's like a good spot to have it though. So like, there's places on your body where I think it would just kill.
yeah, people who have gotten tattoos on their feet or rib cages, those are some of the most painful spots because they're very bony. But here it's just a lot of flesh.
I don't think I could ever get a tattoo. That sounds tough.
I would rather get this than a piercing.
Yeah, because they like shoot it into you.
Yeah, I think that would hurt.
I don't do that stuff, man. That's just but it looks good. I'm glad you like it.
Thanks.
That's cool that you got that. That means something to you. So
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I was gonna get another one originally, but this was a better idea.
great. Next up, we're going to have Emma Holling, Student Body Vice President, on to talk about what changes you should expect regarding consent and sexual harassment. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back, KU students. I'm here with Emma Holling, Student Body Vice President. Thanks for being on the show today.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
So Emma wanted to come in today to talk a little bit about Title IX and some of the changes that are going on around KU regarding consent and some of that sort of thing. So we're kind of just here to talk about basically what's going on. So Student Senate passed a new resolution this last month in November. Do you want to talk a little bit more about kind of what that was, what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really exciting. KU in November, our Student Senate passed a resolution indicating that the university should issue the same benefits to the same-sex partners of employees, faculty, and students that it does to the opposite-sex partners of employees, faculty, and students. So if I was a professor here at KU right now and I married a guy, he would get a certain amount of benefits that I get through the university. But if I was married to a woman, like say we got married in a state where that's legal and then moved here, she would not get any of those benefits that a male partner would get. And we think that that is a civil rights issue, and it's also a problem for representation because that means that KU has a hard time hiring employees who are in openly gay relationships.
So and some of this has been kind of spurred by the what's been going on on the federal government level and some of that sort of thing. So that's kind of sparked this within you guys in Student Senate to, push this forward.
Yeah, we're really scaffolding it as a university. So Student Senate issued this resolution, but we're expecting similar resolutions to come out of the Support Staff Senate, Unclassified Staff Senate, and Faculty Senate. And then it's going to go to the University Senate, which will then forward on its motion to the Board of Regents. We did a similar thing in 2009, but the Board of Regents stopped it because of the state healthcare plan. But we think that with the federal government dropping its support for DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, that it's really a new time and it could produce different results this time.
So it just seems like the opportune time. If you're going to move forward with it, got to go now.
Yeah, and additionally, Mizzou just passed the same thing. Their university now has equal benefits for same-sex partners, and so does Walmart. And we feel like if Walmart and Mizzou are ahead of us on a civil rights issue, we kind of can't let that stand.
Yeah, especially Mizzou, right? You don't want them
No.
one-upping us.
They can't be on the right side of a moral battle. It's just it betrays history.
It really does, and it looks bad for us, right?
Yeah.
If our rivals are getting with the picture, and so what would be the biggest, I guess, thing holding KU back right now?
It's
Is it the state? Is it because Kansas is a very conservative state? Is that one of the biggest issues, or is it?
It's the state legislature is really what it is. They passed the marriage amendment that defined marriages between one man and one woman, and because all employees at KU are under the Kansas state healthcare plan because they are state employees, their partners are not eligible if they are same-sex partners.
So how is this resolution and kind of everything you guys are working on in the Senate right now going to affect the day-to-day life of a student? So if I'm a student, what changes am I going to see here on campus?
I think it's already indicative of a climate change on campus. So I've been talking with people who were in Senate formerly, and they said that you couldn't even pass a general funding bill for queers and allies without certain no votes because people were just opposed to homosexuality on principle. This resolution passed with 0 no votes, which is just spectacular. It means that the climate at KU in terms of acceptance is really changing, which is incredibly exciting. And after we go through this process and hopefully do get those benefits for same-sex partners, it means that KU is going to be able to better recruit faculty, staff, and employees who are in relationships with same-sex partners.
And just creating an open environment for all students and staff to feel welcome.
Absolutely, and we think it's really important because there's tons of studies out there that say if people don't see themselves at certain levels of achievement, like if I don't see myself as a CEO, if there's not somebody who looks like me who's president of the United States, I am less likely to visualize myself as being able to do that. So if we have more queer staff and faculty, we're going to have more students here who are queer who can see themselves going on to those levels of achievement.
Interesting. That's great that you guys are working on this. So, like you kind of said, next step is kind of pushing this on and that sort of thing. What have been some of the other things you guys are working on as far as things like consent and those sort of things go?
Yeah, so we are at really an interesting time at KU when it comes to consent and sexual harassment. As many of you know, there was a really terrible Al Jazeera video that was released in late October, which was actually a year to the day after the Boom Boom Room incident.
Was it really?
Who marked your calendars? Yeah, it was really
Wow.
symbolic in the most terrible way possible. So that video came out, and there was a lot of outcry about that. Not so much, I mean, there were a lot of students who were upset about it, but a lot of outside people were just really disturbed that this was the climate that was happening at our state flagship university.
Right.
Additionally, the federal government this past summer renewed the Violence Against Women Act, which is a flagship piece of legislation that protects women against domestic violence, stalking, things like that. But it had a rider called the SAFE Act. And in that SAFE Act, it indicated that starting in November 2014, which is next year, all incoming freshmen at institutions that receive any form of federal funding, and KU receives a good deal of federal funding, there will be mandatory consent training for those freshmen. And that is a departure from previous policies.
So it's similar to the alcohol EDU that everyone has to take. So.
Yeah, it's similar to it in that it's mandatory, but we're hoping to make the consent training much more engaging and something that students are informed by and actually take to heart.
And they don't want to just, oh, I have to get this done, this stupid thing. I don't need to worry about this. So.
Yeah, and the way that we're doing that is we're actually asking students to get involved in the process of making that programming. So instead of just buying slides from an outside corporation to put on alcohol EDU and calling ourselves SAFE Act compliant, which we could do, the Office of Institutional Opportunity and Access and myself as Student Body Vice President, we're working together to make sure that we find programming that's actually going to be relevant to Jayhawks.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, Dave. This is Emma Halling, Student Body Vice President. Next up, we're going to have Kyle and Jessica with the news.
Good morning, KU. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kyle. Here's your Good Morning KU news update. The Lawrence City Commission failed to come to a decision regarding the expansion of the citywide rental licensing program on Tuesday. The new proposal would require nearly every rental unit in the city to be licensed. Under this program, 10% of the rental units would be inspected every 3 years to make sure they're meeting requirements. The opposed, including the American Civil Liberties Union, said it might create an invasion of privacy issue with residents. The decision has been postponed for 2 weeks.
2 skydivers were killed Tuesday in southern Arizona after colliding during a jump. When the two hit about 200 to 300 feet in the air, their parachutes collapsed, sending them both hurtling downward. One pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was pronounced dead at Casa Grande Regional Medical Center. The names of the victims have not been released, but authorities told MyFoxPhoenix.com that the skydivers were not U.S. citizens.
More details have emerged about the New York train accident on Sunday that left 4 dead and 67 injured. Investigators say the train's systems were functioning properly and the derailment was likely caused by human error. The train engineer is being held responsible for the accident. A union representative said he was, quote, nodding off and caught himself too late, end quote. The engineer's breath test came up negative, but the results of toxicology reports are yet to be known.
The women's basketball team returns to action tonight in Allen Fieldhouse. The Lady Jayhawks will take on an undefeated Arkansas team whose winning margin has been over 25 points per game. Tip-off is at 7 p.m.
The 21st ranked volleyball team will host the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament this weekend in Allen Fieldhouse. KU will play Wichita State in the first round and then hope to meet the winner of the Creighton and Arkansas match. Wichita State defeated the Jayhawks in the NCAA tournament last year.
And that wraps it up for today's news update. I'm Jessica.
Yep, and I'm Kyle, and we'll see you back next Wednesday or tune in tomorrow for the Thursday edition.